So here we're coming to a rather controversial situation. Food safety industry is very concerned about pesticide residues in food, but at the same time, as far as I understand, you are working very hard with this food safety industry to make sure the public receives the safest and the most sophisticated products on the market. How did it come together?
So the food safety is part of the development and the registration process. So we carried out a lot of tests before to submit a file for the registration, and the traces of the product after the spraying can be there, but we have to know the quantity and we have to identify the potential risk they are representing for the consumer. So for any crop, any pesticide, you have what we call the maximum limit of residue, LMRs, which are a trade indicator allowing the trade food industry to check that the farmers have used the product correctly. And today, on a regular basis, the EU authorities, either at the member state or at the Commission level, with EFSA, the European Food Safety Agency, they are making monitoring. So it's more than 70,000 samples of fruits, vegetables, which are taken on the markets in Europe. They made analysis to check the conformity of the residue limit versus the regulation. And today, 97% of all those samples are in conformity with the EU regulation, and the 3% exceedances of residue, in fact, are usually speaking coming from third countries. So we are also working with the third countries in order to be sure that they take into account the EU regulation.
Which countries don't have any control over illegal pesticides?
So illegal pesticide is a growing new issue for us as industry because, as I was mentioning, our industry, the policy and the legislation in Europe, in fact, allow a very safe use of those products, and all those efforts can be jeopardized in one day because of illegal pesticides, which can have a harmful effect on water quality, on the food quality, destroying the crop of the farmers. So usually in Europe, the control again are done in order to verify, to check the conformity of the product versus what has been proposed to the registration. But unfortunately, there are illegal practices, and the Commission last year have done a survey, and it's an average of 10% of pesticide in Europe which can be illegal. Those pesticides are usually coming from China, sometimes Brazil, and it's the reason why we have put in place a huge project, the anti-counterfeit project, where we work with the farmers, the distributors, the local authorities, in order to make awareness about the risk linked with illegal pesticides, and more recently, the enforcement bodies, that means the customs, the police, the harbor inspectors, they have worked together in order to make check on the container arriving on the big boats, from China usually, or from Ukraine. And last November 2015, a significant operation took place during 10 days on the 7 countries in the harbors, and they found 190 tons of illegal pesticides. So
what happened to those pesticides?
So those pesticides are seized, and then we go back to the producer, because of course administrative documents allow us to go back to the producer of those products, and they are of course obliged to take care about the destruction of those products. But for us it's really an objective, a strategy to fight against illegal pesticides.
So for the regular farmer, it can be very seductive to buy a cheaper product.
Exactly.
But what are the effects of this purchase versus the regular purchase for the farm's balance sheet?
So in fact, it can be an apparent good deal for 1 year if there is a cheap offer regarding an illegal pesticide, and by chance this product will not destroy the crop. But we have cases where hundreds and hundreds of hectares of potato, tomato, high-value crop has been destroyed by an illegal pesticide. So at the end of the year, the farmer is not harvesting at all any kilograms of potato or tomato. So you can imagine that the effect on the benefits of the farmers is significant.
So was it destroyed by the pesticide itself, or it was destroyed by the authorities who found out the use of the pesticide?
In some cases, it's destroyed by the product itself because it contains some ingredients which are destroying the crop. Because in the development process of our product, not only we check the effect on human being and on the environment, but we have to demonstrate that the product is effective against the pest we want to control, but also selective, that means respecting the crop we want to protect. And those are trials which are made during several years to take into account the difference of weather, different rates, and of course legal, approved, used according to the label pesticide will not hurt your crop and will protect your crop against the pest, but an illegal pesticide can not only not be as effective as a legal one regarding the pest, but it can also destroy your crop. So this is a part of our training awareness program to educate the farmers of being very, very careful about those apparently nice offers. And we have a program named KISS, Know Your Customer, Know Your Supplier. We make the assumption that if everybody in the chain knows the supplier, knows the customer, and if everybody is behaving well, at the end of the day, there is no business opportunities for those illegal counterfeiters.
Is there a fee for using this program for the farmers, or it's on a voluntary basis?
No, in fact, it's a program we have developed on a voluntary basis. During the winter season, for example, the distributors, the private dealers and the cooperatives are organizing training sessions for the farmers, and we are invited to deliver our messages. So it's part of our, let's say, stewardship approach, responsible attitude to train, educate the farmers on the good practices and also to warn them against the bad practices, illegal pesticide being an illegal practices.